So welcome to the show, Katie. Yay,
Thank
lovely to have you.
you.
I'm
It's
so
so excited.
excited to tackle this topic with you and talk to you about this really important topic. And I just want to start by if you tell the listeners more about yourself and how you sort of got into the work that you do today.
So, my name is Katie Jordan. 4 years ago, this month in July, I was given I think we should sell the house. And I'm like, okay. But it went beyond just selling the house, it went into and move into separate places. And I kind of knew things were coming, but I'm sure some of you can relate, even though you may know things are coming and you're kind of in agreement with it, it doesn't change the fact of, oh my goodness, now what? You know, I did not tell my family that I was even separated for months after we moved into our own places because there's so much, shame, guilt, fear of, am I a failure? Now what do I do? At the time I was the only one in my family divorced. And there is still such a stigma, I feel like,
Yeah,
about being divorced. And there is such a bigger life to live after divorce. Does it suck while you're in the middle of it, while you're trying to figure out who gets the kids when and how that goes, right?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know why meaning the powers that be, the court systems and stuff, we are supposed to make some of the most vital decisions for our children during this time of high emotional turmoil.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, there's one thing I know about myself, and that is I don't always make the best decisions when you're highly charged emotionally,
Nope,
right?
me either. Absolutely not.
So there's always those lessons looking back, I would have, could have.
Mhm.
And I just remember sitting one day after my daughter got picked up and
Mm,
just being devastated. What do I do now?
yeah.
And I knew at that point I had two options. I could stay in that pit of despair, or I could figure out how to move forward. And that is where Butterfly Tribe Blueprint was born from,
Mm,
is putting all of the things that I learned through my own journey together to
mm.
empower other women that this isn't the end. This is the beginning. And it may not be what you had initially planned, because that never really is, right?
No. Right?
But there is so much amazingness to be
Mhm.
had when we start to heal ourselves
Yeah,
and give ourselves some grace to move forward.
yeah, absolutely. That initial feeling of when it's all over, what are some of the emotions that women feel when they're going through this? Because it's a lot, and maybe it's different for some people. And but let's just talk about what feelings that overwhelm you really. And overwhelm, I think, is one of the biggest things. Like you said, you have to make all these decisions. You don't know what life is going to look like. You feel fearful, I'm sure, because you don't know what's coming, but you maybe don't want to go back to what was, or maybe you do want to go back to what was because it's safe. So there's probably a lot of complicated, conflicting emotions that are happening all at the same time.
It's so true.
Mm.
A lot of women lose themselves through marriage.
Mhm.
And it's kind of what society has done to us, right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to take care of everyone else. We're supposed to make sure that the kids are fed and the house is clean and
Mhm.
all that yada
All the
yada.
stuff.
But nobody says, hey,
Mhm.
take care of yourself and don't lose yourself in the process.
Yeah.
Because when you come out on the other end, when the papers have been signed and I don't know how I would have done it had I needed to appear in a courtroom
Yeah.
for that final hearing.
Yeah.
It was over Zoom and didn't have to be on a camera. I remember exactly where I was.
Mm.
And I'm so glad I could mute the judge.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe. You know, you feel like the wind is just taken out of your sails.
Mhm.
And where before it might have been, okay, let me check with my partner. Let me see what, but now all of those decisions
Yeah.
are on you.
Yeah.
And then you may come to the point where you're like, oh, I have this free time because my kids are with their dad.
Mm-hmm.
And now what do I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the time, we don't even know
Yes.
how, yeah, because you just want to cry all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to talk about that complication with looking after yourself, but also if you've got children, needing to look after them to make sure that they're emotionally okay, because obviously they've gone through something too. And sometimes it's easier just to put your whole being into making sure that they're okay. And I think sometimes that adds to the, I guess, loss of you because you're still having to cater to, of course it's right to do that because they do need you to support them, but how do you
Right.
balance that? How do you it's such a delicate balance.
It is. It really is. Um, I have an amazing daughter that is so emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
And even at 4, when we separated, she like knew, she just knew that mommy wasn't all right and that she didn't like what was going on either,
Yeah.
and that makes it harder, right? But what I
Yeah.
started to do is when she did go with her dad, that's when I started to be like, okay,
Mm.
it is okay for it to be about me. You have to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
for me, that was with my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it was little things like when she did leave watching my favorite show or figuring out what my favorite show was, then didn't include Bluey or
Yeah.
or any of those others.
Peppa Pig and all that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That didn't include those.
Mm-hmm.
And I started with that's when I brought meditation, journaling
Mm.
in. And there is something powerful in a pen, regardless if nobody else ever sees it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of the support that I do with people in my coaching and also in my everyday life is I have to tell the 8 almost she'll be 8 next week, but I tell her, did you write it out?
Mm.
Did you, you know, I don't even know how many journals she has now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it helps us process,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
and it's okay to have feelings.
Yeah.
And there are times that I look back and I told this lady this week, who's going to be a new mom. And I said, okay, little unsolicited mom advice here. And she laughs. And I said, you have to take care of yourself first. Because
Absolutely.
when you do that, you show up differently.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example of that for me is there in the beginning, I was trying to build a business. I was
Mm-hmm.
working full time. And then when I had her, thinking of all when we're together physically,
Mm-hmm.
not really being there and being engaged.
Yes.
And I have worked through so much of that through time management and, the mental aspect of it and regaining my confidence that last week we were gone for a little birthday trip
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't feel guilty that I didn't do any work. I may have done one little thing in the midst of the 2 days that we were gone, but I didn't feel guilty.
Yeah.
And I got to be super engaged. And when we show up engaged, you start to notice a difference in your children too.
You do. 100%. 100%.
Right?
And I would love to just talk about the mindset shift I think that needs to take place when you're going through a divorce or when you've come out on the aftermath of it. Because I feel like sometimes we can frame things a certain way, and all it takes is for you to flip it and reframe it a different way to sort of bring yourself into a new perspective. So when, for example, your daughter goes with her dad, it's not reframing it as a sad thing, as in, oh, now I'm not going to see her for a day or 2 days or whatever it is, or she's away from me, and just maybe flipping that into, you've got time to do X, Y, and Z. So you're reclaiming that time back, time maybe you might not have ever had in the marriage. Maybe it was always you that did did everything,
Right.
but now you are reclaiming that time back. And I think it's important to look at little ways like that we can flip the perspective to kind of change our mind and how we see things. So what other sort of mindset shift do you think that women can take themselves through to change their perspective on the situation?
Well, you have to start. And it sounds so easy for me to say it, right? You have to start trusting yourself.
Mm.
Okay. For the longest time, I was in this is really a crazy thing for me.
Mm.
But for the longest time, when I was making decisions, I wasn't making them, I was always thinking about what is going to be his thought or his response to those decisions.
Yes.
And I slowly started, okay, in certain things, yes, that still needs to be considered. But in my everyday life and things like that, like, what's the food menu for the week? What,
Yeah. Yeah.
things like that. What snacks she has, stuff like that. It's like,
Mhm.
no, I can make those and trust myself that
Yeah.
those decisions are going to be okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And you have to just start making those small decisions.
Mm.
One little, it might
Yeah.
be what the food menu is, that might be the easiest part.
Mhm.
Um, and the other part of that is having boundaries with yourself.
Mm.
Because when you're starting to rebuild, you're kind of like a little puddle, right? You can go
Mm.
anywhere, you're kind of very fluid, like,
Yeah.
oh, I
Yeah.
don't really know. Um, but when you start making those little promises to yourself,
Mm.
like, I'm going to go for a walk today.
Mm.
I'm going to read 2 pages in my favorite book. That starts to build your own strength from within
Yeah.
because you start to learn, yes, I can trust myself.
Mm.
But you have to keep them, because if you don't keep them with yourself, how can you keep them with anybody else?
Exactly. Exactly. That
You
is so,
know?
so true. And I think also it's an opportunity, because you were talking about the food thing. And I think it's an opportunity to rediscover what you like. Maybe for so many years you were buying a certain kind of milk, or I don't know, that you weren't really keen on, but that's just what the house, drank. Now you can buy the
Right.
milk that you like. You can buy whatever it is that you like. And, so it's little things like that to sort of reclaim you and yourself and the life that's within you. So I
Yeah.
think that's really important. What I wanted to discuss quickly was just, what sort of arc do you think you go through to sort of get to the other side? Because the process of grief has like 5 different steps, from denial to anger, and then finally acceptance. And so you didn't have to do 5, but maybe, how do we get to the other side? What are we going through to get there?
Well, I think the first step really is that you have to make the decision that you want to move forward
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and that you want to create a life that, for me, that not only I'm proud of,
Mm-hmm.
that my daughter is proud of too.
Yes. I think it's the bravery to want to start something new and let
Hmm.
go of the old, because
Yeah.
you were so attached to it. You thought this was going to be forever, but it's brave to say, okay, that's done now,
Yeah.
let it go.
How many of us are like, oh gosh, what do we do now?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's kind of like I was helping a lady who her husband just passed away.
Mm,
And it was like she said to me, she was like, I just have to do one simple thing to keep myself moving forward.
yeah.
It's very similar after the divorce too. In
Yeah.
the beginning, you do have to start doing those small things,
Yes. Yeah.
you know? And part of that, it then moves into, okay, what do I like the self discovery part?
Mm-hmm.
What
Yeah.
do I want my life to look like? And let me tell you, I struggled with that a lot
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because then there also comes in this worthiness piece.
Mm, yeah.
And I didn't realize that I didn't feel worthy to
Yeah.
live this amazing life because I was still dealing with so many things prior to that.
Yeah.
Um, because there's one thing I unfortunately know a lot about, and that is grief. Because
Mm-hmm.
prior to my divorce, I lost my grandmother, my father, and my sister within the time span of 4 years.
Gosh.
And then that divorce came right behind it. And I was just like,
What is happening? Yeah.
but we just have to remind ourselves. I have a
Mm.
note on my my bathroom mirror that says, trust yourself,
Mm. Yeah.
and that really, really, it's those little things like reminding yourself every day when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the kind of person though that I don't like to stew on a decision. I don't like to
Yeah.
think about it too much. I
Yeah.
like to just, okay, if this is what I think I should do, this is what I do and move forward.
Yeah. I like that.
Because I know in my corporate job, I've
Mm.
had a boss that likes to think things over and mull it over again. And I'm like, I'm
Just
not
make a
giving you,
decision already.
yeah, I'm not giving you any new information.
Yeah.
But it's the beauty for us
Mm-hmm.
post divorce as we start creating this life is that we get to make those decisions.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get to start allowing ourselves to dream again. Where would I go?
Yeah.
What would I do?
Yeah.
I will never forget the it was right after the divorce was final. I think it was that year. I went on my first girls trip
Mm.
since before my daughter was born. Me and my best friend. And it was a little scary at first,
Mm.
but when I realized this is the time for me to take care of me and reset.
Yeah.
When I came back and went into mom mode, I felt like it was a whole different game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I'm much better about taking that time.
Yeah.
And if you ever feel like you don't have that time,
Mm.
it's time to evaluate your time and figure out, why do I think I don't have this time? Because I know I have a very fortunate co-parenting situation.
Mm.
You know, I have a sibling that doesn't have the same.
Mm.
You have to get creative
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you make yourself a priority
Yeah.
and you do those things, it's amazing how life changes
Yeah.
and your children respond differently
Responds to that.
too.
But I picked up on something you said about going on a trip with your best friend. So I'd love you to talk about the power of just community and of sisterhood and having people around you to really support you, because that's important in parenting anyway. I think we don't really have that village that we all want. So how important is it to have that when you're going through such a life-changing situation like a divorce?
Well, I know, and this is part of the tribe of Butterfly Tribe Blueprint, is because when I was going through my own divorce, I surrounded myself by women who, and it's funny now looking back because they're some of the most amazing women that I've never met in my life. Majority of them are in Canada. I've met a couple of them through my travels and their travels too. But I was surrounded by women who supported me, who encouraged me, said, give yourself some grace. They may not have understood the divorce aspect of it, but they understood the human aspect of it. Right? And that is what is so important. You guys, it doesn't have to be this grand gesture. We have to do everything all in person. Paula and I are prime examples of that.
There's like an 8-hour difference. You're like 9 a.m. and there's 4 p.m. over here.
We're night and day. We're across the ocean from each other. But to have this connection, to be going through some of these things, and to see where we've come in the last year. It's been amazing.
It's incredible.
And as much as this might sound crazy to say, when you are on the other side of the divorce, it also might be time to look at that friend group. Because you need to be surrounded by people that are not talking trash about the other person, that are going to be loving and supporting, and not, oh, you shouldn't do that, or let's not, no, they let you have your own process, but they support you through it.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want to do for women, because it's so important.
It's so necessary. And I would love for you, as we wrap up, just to talk to that woman who is listening right now and feels stuck or is still in that broken state and still a little bit lost and just needs some direction, but small actionable steps. What can you do one day at a time that's going to move you forward and really, really help you to come out to the other side? What would you say to her?
This isn't the end. Oh, it's making me emotional too. And I've learned I'm not going to apologize for it, because I look at my own journey. And I see where I have come from. And where I am now. That it is possible to rebuild this amazing life where your children, and most importantly, you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm proud of me. So even if that starts with little meditations, you can find them everywhere. And it's not about turning off your mind. It's about refocusing it, setting your day up or your evening up for success. These are the two most powerful tools that I've found for me, were also I am statements. I am bold. I am beautiful. I am worthy. Those are just a few. But if you want to take it up even a notch from there, ask your kids what you think that you should add to that. That'll add a whole different dimension, and you'll be
really,
because that shows you how they see you as well.
I love that. I just think I am worthy can never be underestimated, that statement, because in a society that tells women they only have value when they find a husband or if they're married, and reminding yourself of your worthiness. Just because you're inherently worthy, it's not because you're not attached to a man, it's just
Right.
standing in your own worthiness. So I really love that. That was really important. And thank you for sharing that. And please tell us more about the Butterfly Blueprint, everything you're doing. How can we connect with you online? Please let us know.
So in the next month, we are going to be offering a free course through Butterfly Tribe Blueprint, your 90 days to confidence. And that's where we are going to walk through some of those things as setting the boundaries, finding the time, rediscovering yourself, and setting yourself up for success moving forward. And if you would like, I also have a New Beginnings PDF, which gives you some really great starting points to get yourself moving, because some days it is just those little steps.
Yeah.
Right? And you can find me on Facebook, Katie Kuhn Jordan, and Instagram, Butterfly Tribe Blueprint. LinkedIn, I'm also under Katie Kuhn Jordan as well. And that's where all the latest happenings are. If you get on the Facebook, it also takes you, if you click on my banner, it takes you into a group of 4 women going through this transition and starting to move forward together. So you're not alone.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much. We need more time. I'm trying to keep it short.
But, I know, we always do.
I know.
There might be a round 2. You never know.
Absolutely. But yeah, I'm so happy that you were able to come on today and for sharing what you've shared with us. And thank you for supporting women and just for creating that community that is so needed. So thank you so much for your time today and sharing your wisdom with us. And hopefully I'll have you back on soon.
Yes. Thank you, Paula.